Why are we here?
We're here to visit your old band director.
He,
Former band director.
he comes to me. He's like, Connor, I need lore. I need
to know more about Connor.
I need deep Connor lore because he actually rooms with me, right?
I'm living with his family.
He lives in my house and he's in my walls, and it's
Debatable. That's very debatable.
not debatable at all. You knock on my door constantly.
I don't. Though. You're the one who knocks on my door.
Drew, you are the bane of my existence. I hope you know that.
You're the one who invited me.
So Matt, can I call you Matt? That seems weird.
I mean, it's a little. Yeah, it's fine.
It's weird.
You graduated 2 years now.
Yeah, 2 years. So
Can I call you Matt?
It's not as weird.
Okay, cool.
I see these like alumni and they come up to you and they're like, "How's it going, Matthew?" And like all this stuff, and I'm like, "That's the worst thing I've ever experienced."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, is there like a rule? Like, how long does it have to be?
I feel like once you look different, you know, like
What?
no.
What?
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out, right? So our current band director,
Dr. Cook.
hallowed be his name, yeah.
Hallowed be his name.
And he is going to age like fine wine, and so like after a good amount of time, he's going to look different enough so that I can associate him as a different individual.
That makes sense. I still call my band director from high school Mr. Person.
Yeah, and when I talk about him behind his back, I call him Kozacek still. So yeah,
Nobody ever says Mister. They just call Kozacek.
yeah. I call you Kozak. I call you Matthew Aaron Kozak, the Mac for short. Matthias Kosmachek.
Nice.
Some of the other wacky things that those freaking announcers would call your name, like on
Kozacek.
Kozacek,
Kozacek.
Kozamalek,
Kojak.
Kojak Horseman,
Kojak Horseman.
Kojak Horseman,
Kodak.
Kodak Black.
Kodak.
Kodak.
I've heard.
You've heard,
Wow.
bro. There was a time in California we went to a show. Oh, yeah, I was trying to figure this out. So we went to a show 2 years ago in California, and I'm trying to figure out what circuit it was. And I feel like you would be the person to know.
Yes.
I do not remember what school, but it was like one of the only times we went to play a show in California, 2019.
Western Bands Association.
That's it.
I competed in the WBA.
WBA.
Yeah.
So
it was the El Conquistador Classic in
Chino. I live in Chino.
Yeah, what was the name of that school? It was
Don
like
Lugo High School.
Don Lugo.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, I live half a mile from it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe the show happened in like September or October.
It was October.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's October.
So I was probably half a mile away.
Yeah.
Over there.
That was a good one.
that was a really good one.
That was the show. Wasn't it the one where it was a one-handed rifle catch at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like when we did Cali, and we placed first in Cali. I remember that, nobody else does. And
It was beat all the other three bands.
yeah, the other three, yeah. So we placed first, and that was the time that I everybody seemed so confident that we could get first place that year, and I'm always, he knows this.
You're the skeptic.
I'm the well,
Let's keep things real.
well, we freaking suck. Sorry, actually. But that was the show that I was like, yeah, we could actually do this, because that had
competing
never
against
happened.
out of state
Yeah,
bands that you've never seen before. That makes sense.
because that had never happened before for me. You know, my first 3 years, it was first two, it was hell yeah, we beat Williamsfield, but we never got past Mesa High School. All the way to freaking stab us in the back. And then the third year we went Division 4A. I won't say Division 1 because you're the holy man.
Wrong one.
You're the holy man of AZNBA. So, but we got to 4A, and then that was the entire world.
That was hard.
And we went back down, and then we got first, and the band's never been the same.
Yeah, we had our actually because it was 2019 we finished first place, and then 2020 obviously was just we did our fun show because everything was shut down.
I wonder why.
Yeah, there was There's a virus, and
Monkeypox, right?
yeah, well, that's the new one.
Right?
That's the new one. Yeah. So and then this season we lost one show. Everybody was so upset because we were undefeated for like the last. Well, you say 2 years, but it's 3 years because of COVID. So it had been 3 years since we had lost a show, and then we lost at we lost at Perry or no Castile, and everybody was like, "Oh, broke the streak."
Yeah. I think I talked to Peter.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh man," and I'm like, "Bro, you all sound freaking divine. What do you mean?" And he's like, I don't know." And I was sitting there. And I'm like, "Yeah, because that was me at that point. Like now I'm outside of it, and so I can like look and be like, they sound and look freaking incredible. Like this is easy money, you know."
Yeah.
Well, you can't say it's
Yeah, it's not. I mean, because Casa Grande, they're
Grande.
really good.
They're really good.
Basha was really good, and we were just like, man, we got to keep cranking. But
Yeah.
that's what I love about it. It's just like, the drive. Everybody's got that drive. Everybody wants to win. It's not all about winning, but it's fun to win, right?
Right, for sure. I've sort of changed. I've definitely loosened up a lot more since I graduated. I realized that band in high school, while being a blast and being awesome, and of course, major was like highlight. Like for other people, like 2020 happened, and they were like, "Oh man, senior year was ruined. All my stuff was over." Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, "I'm good. Let's do this stuff."
Band kids have been done for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than winter people.
Yeah, that's true. Who does winter stuff?
He can't say anything. You're gonna trap him, bro. So the reason we have you in the hot tub is we want to just ask you so many interrogating questions and get you in so many
Get me in
lies.
so many troubles.
So much trouble.
So many
troubles.
So much trouble.
But I was like that was so much fun. I get to GCU, right? And well, the first thing that is said to me is Paul Cook is like, "Oh, you're from Campo? Oh, how's Matt doing? We competed back in the day."
Yeah, we did.
And I'm like, "Yeah. Oh, what school did you teach? Perry? Oh, you competed back." And then that's gonna get me in trouble if Paul Cook watches this.
He won't. No, he doesn't watch
He won't watch it. He's too busy.
Of all the massive fans that we have, I don't think.
I think our biggest fan right now.
Probably my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah,
it's good.
Good
start.
That's a good
start.
start.
Yeah.
What's my point? I keep on going into tangents.
No, you were saying
Your
like
growth
the
from
competitive.
GCU.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I realized, like, end of the day, no matter what happens competitively, and music is one of those weird things, and art as a whole is a weird thing to try and quantify. Like the quality, the quote unquote quality of art is really hard to like feel like, well, how do we do it, right? And there's like there's objective standards that you can hit, but even those are kind of weird because of how like postmodernism. Anyway, so I've realized that my goal as like a performer is to create an experience that is going to get a crowd excited and maybe touch one person, right? Versus like, oh, I gotta get, if we don't get that general effect caption, I'm gonna freaking lose my crowd, bro.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's sort of been the journey that I've been on.
Yeah.
And you can sort of speak to that too, because like you did DCI and then you also did pep band.
Well, yeah. So it was weird transitioning from. I did 2 years of Watchmen. Switching from pep band, the loose, ultra casual, to the high rigors of drum corps was just kind of like a shock because I got back from drum corps and then a week later I moved in for band camp, and just adjusting that just twisted everything. So my question.
What'd you play?
You felt, yeah. My question to you is, how do you how would you prepare people to like your seniors to move on after competing? 4 years of just competing.
Yeah, that's the so let's just kind of like dive into that because right, I mean, college. Even when I went to college, U of A,
Mhm.
you don't compete.
Right.
You don't, you try to perform well. You try to, make the audience happy, and you try to beat ASU, and sound better than them. But there's there's no competition, so it's a completely different experience. And I think there's a lot of value to understanding that there's goods and bads to both. Like when you're in high school and you're competitive and you're learning that like competition, you're learning how to hold yourself to that really high standard. You're driving and you're working every week. That's going to serve you well later, right?
Mhm.
I mean, that's going to serve you well as an adult, just like having that competitive drive. But then you go to college, you don't have that competition. You kind of like realize the more fun aspect to it, and hopefully like balances some things out, so that when you become an educator, you've got a good balance, right? Because like I I teach our students like it's fun to win, and that's what I was just telling you. It's fun to win, but does it mean everything? No. What means the most is like the journey that you're on. Are you going to learn how to be a better person, a harder worker, a team player, to get your stuff done on time, to like submit your work and all that stuff? That's like really the goal, is to learn all those skills so that you're better like later. And I think if you can master like the balance between the two, where it's like band is fun, it's supposed to be fun, it's supposed to have a great time. Band can also be competitive. That's cool too. Like it's fine. There's no right or wrong. I think it's I think it's a little bit scary when it's one way or the other completely, though. Like when it's just like it's only fun.
So you're saying that those two aspects are not more important than each other?
No, I don't think so. I at least
That's what I think.
I don't.
Personally.
Yeah, I think that it's good to have a little bit of both, and teach your students at least like both are good. I mean, have a good time, but also learn how to be competitive. And as long as you're not hanging your hat on those trophies and saying like, if we don't win, this season was a disaster or a failure. That's horrible.
My
Like that's
high school experience became
yeah. See,
it was horrible by my senior year.
and I'll say when I was younger, like I think the older you get, the more you like think about this. When I was younger, I definitely was more like, yeah, we got to win. Like, we don't win. So
If we
I
don't
think
win, it doesn't matter.
right, and I started realizing that a lot of the students were just like, well, shoot, man, we're not winning, so I guess we're gonna go do something else. I'm like, no, don't do that. Yeah, don't leave. Like, my contract depends on you being in my class. So it's I don't know. That's just my thought on it. And sometimes I don't do a good enough job of explaining it like to the students when they're getting ready to graduate and all that stuff. But
Yeah, like
try.
I've decided, and you can tell because of these cameras and stuff, that I'm going to just be okay with the fact that I'm probably going to be a starving artist. So I mean, I have a very, and I know this about myself, I have a very pretentious view of art. And like the understanding that like, yeah, art has different uses, different strengths, different weaknesses. As a performer, it's completely different. It's a completely different experience playing a piece rather than actually just listening to the piece, because you understand the journey. End of the day, for me, I think I'm always going to value the curation of quote unquote valuable art rather than like art that is going to be objectively like this will make the judges clap right now. Like if I am able to create let's say I'm a band director and I have like a band, right? If I'm able to create an experience that gets a crowd excited and maybe one person resonates with that, and they're super into the show and everything like that, I've done my job right. I could care less, and I could care less about like, oh well, see that your intonation could be just a tiny bit sharper, and like I'm gonna knock you down 5 points for that. That's why certain rulings that are like we're gonna place value on XYZ and that is good art is always like weird to me. It wasn't that way when I was in high school. In high school, I was you probably saw it a little bit. I was a head case about myself. I was
Head
I-
case.
I
What
tried
do you mean?
I tried playing it off. I tried, but I was like, oh, we gotta get on these people's asses, right? And I'd see certain like section leaders and like certain members of the band like just acting a certain way, and I'm just like, this is not conducive to a good working environment. I'm gonna go walk into Matthew Kozak's room as he's eating his lean cuisine, and I'm gonna tell him right now, you gotta have a talking to this man. And now it's like those feelings were real and they were genuine. But I look back now and I'm like, we put on a really good show.
Mhm.
That was so awesome. That was so impactful to so many people, performers, parents, all that type of stuff. So my standard now, like, that checked all the boxes, you know. But yeah, High School Me was a lot different. You don't know that.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
What's your favorite memory of college in high school?
Gosh, there's just so many. There's so many.
He definitely remembers me.
Yeah, I think my favorite was just your awful yet completely like inspiring and motivational conducting skills. Like it was so funny because like you were like just go, you like brought the energy all the time, every single time. But your pattern was all over the place. So it was like one of those moments where you're just like, do I correct him? He's having such a good time. You know what I mean?
He looks like he's having fun.
He's
I don't
having
want to ruin
fun.
that.
He's having so much fun. Nobody can find beat one, but it's okay.
Listen to the drum line. Just
Yeah.
watch the drum line. Watch the drum line.
Hold on, baby.
That's what I started doing. This is like telling the band just sit back.
Hold on tight, because here we go.
Yeah, no. I think that I will always, remember you more for like just the craziness, like the energy that was brought to this, especially the stands, the pep tunes and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not surprised that you really like the pep band and all that stuff in college, because I mean that was your jam.
Yeah.
in high school.
I went back for homecoming and I was just in the stands and stuff, and I was just like, man, somebody got to do something about this.
I gotta go talk to Matthew Kozak.
I'm gonna go into Matthew Kozak's room as he's eating his lean cuisine, and I'm gonna tell him,
Someone needs to fix this.
I'm gonna walk into band.
What you don't know, as soon as you graduated, it said never again, kids. I'm just kidding.
No more of that.
Watch this video of what not to do. Got it. Because you eat horribly most of the time.
Very true.
Most of the time you're at night rehearsals.
Those show concession things.
Not good.
Adult ramen is not fun.
And then at the booth, like the hospitality booth, like for all the directors and stuff, man, talk about it. Like they feed you well, but it's just So anyway, lean cuisine.
Yeah, lean cuisine.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Yeah.
If you want to, I don't know why you would want to.
Imagine 5 minutes right here.
That's it. Yeah, I went to homecoming, and I'm like, and me and Jackson, because Jackson's also in the pep band,
Yeah.
he's like, we're like, they're just standing, because we're like
you've experienced the GCU.
I've experienced GCU basketball game where like you have like 100 people.
There's no doubt
in a line, and it's just like, yeah, you fucking, and like all that type of stuff. And with high schoolers, it's like you gotta, if you're teaching professionalism, you gotta teach it both ways. So it's like you gotta, if you want to have good, respectful decorum, like it's different, you know.
Yeah,
At least I was thinking.
In college is a switch you can flip.
Yeah.
In terms of like
High schoolers have trouble flipping switches.
What are we talking about?
the difference between high school pep band and college pep band.
Oh yeah.
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 Like being in the stands at high school, like you're like you were saying, he brought the energy to the stands all the time and stuff like that. That's just the average pep band student.
Yeah. It's a different way. Yeah.
So it's a completely different shift. So
Yeah.
we were just we were thrown off. We were like, oh wow, okay, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Was Was that time you saw us in Vegas? That first time you had ever seen the Tep Band?
No. I went to a couple games, a couple of your home games. Actually, Jason Bullock got me some tickets. His family got me some tickets, so I went and watched some
Funny
games.
story.
Yeah.
Jason Bullock is my old roommate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the assistant band director at Campo now. He helps with the marching band and all that stuff. And he's getting married.
Yeah.
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 He is getting married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic for him.
Yeah, good for him.
But his family gave me some tickets. I took the kids. And talk about actually the GCU environment is super good, super cool. Like the hype at the games, the student section is
Mhm.
crazy. Yeah, it's really nice. It's fun.
We get way.
So my first experience seeing Campo was in 2019,
Mm.
that championship year show. I was working the cameras at U of A band.
Oh,
I was working the high cam for Foxfire.
Box 5. Okay.
So I got to see the entirety of the show, and I was just Jason had hyped it up for me,
Mm.
and I was kind of in awe when I saw it. I was like, "Wow, this is one of the best shows I've ever seen."
That's cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
But it was just like, and then finding out that Connor the next year had come in from there, I was super excited to see what he could bring coming from Campo with what I had seen.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
So-
cool.
It was weird. It was like it was like I had a rep with certain people. Like, you went to Campo? Oh my gosh! I love your show. What was it about death or like?
they didn't get it.
was the show about like death or was it about a fairy tale going wrong? Like that's like the two.
Yeah, that's funny.
We had more topics.
I want to ask you about Jackson.
Yeah,
He's a duck.
he's a... I'm done. Bye.
Oh my god! No, so Jackson is a duck, and
So Jackson is a duck, right?
um,
So if you check on the Condork YouTube channel, which
we'll link the video below.
yeah, absolutely. We did a mafia game, right?
Yes, I was watching it.
Oh, you did.
Okay,
Oh,
so yeah,
That's where I saw it from.
yeah.
yeah.
Matt Kozacek,
So-
avid fan of the Condork YouTube channel. So, Campo Van Kids, your next assignment is just
Yeah.
yeah. So I would legit was like, hey, we're gonna do this mafia game. Everybody bring a wacky character. Do not tell me what your characters are. That was the first mistake. I should have known.
We got some weird characters.
We had some interesting some people that I was like, okay, no, you got to change. You can't do that. But Jackson's like, so my bit, Connor, I'm just letting you know, is that I'm going to pretend that I'm a duck who is pretending to be a human. That is going to be my entire
He
bit.
brought a whole loaf of bread.
Yeah. I was
And was
watching that
just
part where
eating
he was
it
just
throughout
eating,
the-
and you asked me like, "Where'd you get the bread?" Like some guy in the park. Or something like that.
So I did the camera work for that. I was just like, how do I accurately portray this on camera
Yeah.
for the?
Jackson is like low key funny.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you don't expect it.
No, you
Yeah.
really don't.
And
you
then,
really don't.
And then he hits you with like a freaking sucker punch of a banger, but you can't let him have it because then he'll drive it into the ground. So you gotta be like, that's good. And he still does the freaking duck because I gave him props for it.
He
When
was down?
was that? When was that?
That was like February.
Oh wow.
Right.
Yeah, right before we went to Vegas.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. How was that Vegas trip?
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
It's exciting.
It was relaxing too.
Yeah, I was doing the joke with Jackson because we were staying at the New York.
Oh.
And so the joke was, he's a junior and I'm a sophomore. We're staying at the New York on a band trip, and we're just seeing Matt Kozacek at some point. This is just Carnegie Hall again.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously.
And I was like,
Seriously.
history freaking repeats itself. Hopefully
Yeah.
he doesn't get mugged by Elmo again.
Oh yeah, New York. That's right.
was a
I
thing.
forgot about that one.
That was a banger.
Greatest Jackson Davis story ever.
I would tell the story to them before he decided to go to GCU.
Mhm.
And then he showed up, and I was like, "Hey, do you remember that Elmo story? That's him." And they were like, "Yo,
That's great.
no, it's freaking exciting."
And I told you so And I told you about my pep band experience in college.
Yeah, U of A. Yeah,
I'll
that's.
tell you how it got cut short.
Oh no,
I
you did not tell me this.
didn't tell you I got kicked out of the pep band.
You got kicked out.
Yeah, got kicked out of the pep band. I was a misbehaving child.
Okay, so like, what was the straw? Because like, you probably did a number. What was the thing?
The thing that actually, well, no, it was just one thing.
Oh, it was.
Yeah,
I thought that it was a series of bad behavior.
no, well,
You seem like a rebel.
most behavior went undetected.
True.
And, and then the one time so we were at a gig. It was, I believe, a soccer gig. Because I think, I don't know if you guys do this, but you do gigs around the campus for different things too, right? So we went to a soccer game, which we had never done a soccer game before, and we were playing there. And me and the other tuba player on that gig, we were playing, and we saw a banner hanging on the fence around the soccer field for Old Chicago, which was our place to eat. Like, we always would eat at Old Chicago. That's is number one place that we like to go and hang out. And I decided that banner needed to be in my living room. So,
As you do.
My friend, the other tuba players, like, I got a Swiss Army knife, and I'm like, all right. So we cut down the sponsor banner from the gig, and they pay good money to have their banners up at those gigs. And we were walking away, like he folded it up and kind of put it inside his pep band jacket, walking away, and he goes, and this athletics official came up and said, hey, you guys took that sign? And I'm like, no, take a sign?
What sign?
And he's like, no, I saw you take that sign. It's in his jacket. My buddy Nate pulls outside, like, oh, you mean this one? You mean this one? So then, of course, athletics calls our band director, because it was being led by a grad TA or something, and calls our band director, Jay Reese, who, we're great friends now, and he teaches at University of Miami. A really, really good dude, but he was obviously extremely angry because his band was stealing signs from a gig
Obviously
that we were supposed to be supporting the school. And so he called us up after practice on Monday. We all get together, and he's just like, and he laid into me hard. This was like 20 years ago, and I still remember, he asked me if when I woke up in the morning that sign belonged to me. And he said, I've met your parents. I know they didn't teach you to steal. Like, he was like digging in. And I was like, yikes. And no, but for good reason. Like, he was teaching me a lesson. And then he's like, you're out. You're out of pep band. And they just so happened to make it to the national championship game that year. That was the year that U of A played, what was it, Duke in the national championship game, or Michigan State in the national championship game in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I had to pay my way to go watch the game.
You're just sitting there like,
yeah.
There was always an aura with people where like they'd come up to me and be like, Connor, can you tell Kozacek this? I don't want to go into his office.
Well, they were afraid. I wasn't treating me like a god. They were afraid of
They were
me.
intimidated.
That you would. Yeah, I mean that's the thing with all teachers though, and now I know that you're just like a weird uncle. with you're, but like when you're like a freaking sophomore, I'm stuttering. Look at me. I'm not gonna try. No, you know what? Yeah, no. When you're a sophomore, like you look at your teachers and it's like, oh my gosh, they can do no wrong. It's like the same thing with your parents. Where
I think it's different when it's a band director.
Very true, because you're with them for like years.
4 years, yeah.
Yeah, and then you realize that they're human, and then you either have
mistakes.
You either have grace or you get angry, or you get a mixed both.
You mean the students?
Yeah, and the students.
Yeah, because there's some graduates that get real angry and they leave and they don't want to ever talk to you again. There's some students that are just like, all right, they're a human being, and they said one thing to me my sophomore year that made me mad, but he's just a man.
It's whatever, it is how it is. I mean, there was I keep on trying to go into stories. I do this thing where I start talking and hope something comes up. I don't have
You've always done that.
I don't have
You
a
just
plan.
and then stuff just like
You
spills
start
out.
using like words that can be used in any context just to hopefully like create a story.
And it's like one of those things where you know
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where when I was
When
the
I was,
idea
like a
that
couple years ago.
the idea that that's how you lead effectively. That's how you do it. I learned that.
you give yourself a chance to think.
Yeah. The way you lead effectively is you say a bunch of words and don't actually say anything.
You never get to the point.
I learned that. I learned that from Camp Already Leadership.
Like we did not do a session on that.
Oh, let me check my notes. So how to say a lot without saying anything? No.
Yeah.
That that's like the thing that frustrates me the most with people now. Like, and I think that's the thing that I think that's the big thing that band like instilled in me was like you got to be able to communicate effectively. Like I there are so many people that are like I love them to death. Like take 4 or 5 days to respond to emails. Uh, or even like you're talking and it's like, hey, this is how I'm either A, I'm feeling like if it's like a personal thing, or B, like this is how we're gonna do something, and then it's like, okay, so repeat everything you said to me again, and then it's like, okay, you don't know where I'm going with this, but I will in 2 seconds. 2, 1. So that's where I was, and that's the end of that conversation.
Okay. So as a band, I'm gonna get to my question. As a band director, you are obviously been exposed to drum corps.
Oh yeah.
You have probably had definitely had students go in like probably academy or phenom. How do you find the balance of that? Because I know a lot of band directors. That was one band director in particular. My first college band director. He forbade all of us from doing drum corps. He was like, "You can't do drum corps. You can't do anything." Not Paul. This is my another college. He was like, "You can't do drum corps. If you do it, you're cut from the band."
Mm.
How do you try to find that balance?
What I don't. Well, I understand why they do that. There's some I've known some directors that do that because the problem with when kids go march corps is they come back with this like elitist attitude and they've been part of one of the best groups in the world. So like, what makes you think they're going to be a positive contribution to your mediocre high school marching band? So like, so I can understand why people get frustrated by that. And I have had a variety of students where they go and they come back and some are great and they're like a great leader and they're like they take what they learn as positive and they help and give it to others and those are the people that are like they just have a giving heart. They want to give back, not taking. The ones that are takers, they come back horrible, right? They like come back and they're like what am I getting out of this anymore? And it's just rough.
We do
So
things like this at so and so.
yeah, and they don't listen to the staff anymore because they had world class staff. So it's just, but I think, at least my philosophy is, I don't want to restrict people from doing something that they want to do, like they love and they're passionate about. So I've never forbade anybody from doing it. I figure they're gonna go, they're gonna march. Am I worried about what they're missing at Campo? No, because they're marching with like one of the best in the world. They're gonna be able to learn the drill in 2 days when they come back. They're gonna be able to play the music within 2 days when they come back. I'm not worried about their talent. I'm more worried about their character when they come back. So we talk to them before they leave, say, you're going to go be a part of this. It's going to be a shock when you come back. I need you to be really understanding that we're having this conversation right now to prep you for that so that when you do come back and I hold you to a high standard that you're not upset with me. Like I kind of let them know like this isn't going to change, and how you are a member is not going to change. I want you to go do this because I think you're great, you're talented, but don't let it affect like how you treat the people around you and everything. So anyways, where we're at, I don't ever want to not let anybody do something, like let them go do it. Just try to prep them and help them learn. Again, right? It's that it's the education of it.
Being
It's
an
like,
educator.
it's like instead of forbidding or like saying no, you can't. Just teach them how to be a part of a good organization, and then go give back to the other one. Like it's a great lesson for
Yeah.
everybody to learn. So that's just my preference.
I think that's good. Yeah.
That's something. That's one of the most valuable things I learned growing up. That it was like I'm very fortunate that my parents were never the type to just be like, you absolutely cannot do this.
Mhm.
Like pursue X, Y, Z. It was always, you want to do this? Okay. How are we gonna do it?
Yeah.
Right? And then if it becomes unfeasible, I'm figuring that out.
Mhm.
It's very much like kick the freaking bird out of the nest, and if it flies, it flies.
Oh yeah.
And that definitely was a big thing that I feel a lot of people felt and still do in in bands that are like super like heavily focused on like competitive circuits and stuff like that. It's like you gotta figure yourself out. Uh, you can't like there will be people that will support you and help you, but like you can't. You're only gonna be as good as you allow yourself to be. What do I know? I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, me too.
That almost came off problematic. I apologize to all Hawaiian people. Anyway,
People who wear Hawaiian shirts.
I'm gonna get canceled on Twitter.com. That's the goal of this podcast, for one of us to get canceled.
Is it? But it's not really. I mean, Polynesian is. You said Polynesian, or you're in trouble.
Very true. Very true.
Hawaiian is okay.
Hawaiian's alright. It's part of America.
I mean, you can say Hawaiian pizza, for God's sake.
Very true. The context of me being like, I don't know very much. I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
I don't. Okay, I understand what you're saying right now. I get it. I understand.
Well, Mr. Matthew Kozacek, I very much do appreciate you letting us barge into your home and and asking you the not any don't say that.
Actually, you're right. Don't
say that.
What if I just came home?
Hey, how's it going? How's band camp?
you sit in my hot tub.
So have they learned 8 to 5 yet, or what?
Yeah. Can I call you? If you're gonna call me like Kozacek, I can call you like Grux.
You can call me Connor Guru. That's what
I call him Guru. I call him Guru.
Yeah, they call me.
You call him Condork.
Condork.
You don't
for
need
his
to.
channel.
You don't need to call me. That's a brand. That's like if I. That's
your brand. It's
that's
you,
like
Mr. Condork.
That's like if I went up to Sir Matthew McConaughey Kozacek and I said to him, "How's it going, Mr. Coyote Pride?" That's a brand. It's a lifestyle. And you can be a part of the Condork lifestyle if you subscribe to this channel right now. It's absolutely free, and you can change your mind whenever you'd like. Thank you so much for being on this.
Change your mind right now.
Don't. So great for this. Yeah. So thanks very much.
Thank you for being on this podcast.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
And everybody, thank you so much for watching. Take care.